Vampires are real and they are after Jim Carrey's virginity in Once Bitten. Released in 1985, this horror comedy tells the story of a seductive vampire known as the Countess, who in order to stay young and healthy must feed on the blood of a virgin. With the help of her assistant, Sebastian, played by Blazing Saddles Cleveland Little, she seeks out Mark Kendall, played by Carrey, who is so sick of being in the V-zone, he heads out for a night on the town, where he meets the Countess and gets bitten. Mark starts to change more and more as he becomes a vampire. So the big question is, will Mark be able to reconcile with his girlfriend Robin and avoid becoming a creature of the night? Or will he forever be taunted by the Countess who wants to feed on his purity in this fun sex comedy with teeth? So how does one describe Once Bitten? Well, it's like if you get a blender and put Porky's and Fright Night inside said blender, and hey presto, you get Once Bitten. So today we are going to look back into 10 things that you didn't know about Once Bitten. Probably the only vampire movie to feature ice cream trucks, button biting, and Jim Carrey's virginity, as well as the most epic dance-off ever put to film. So let's check it out. Number 10. Original choice to play Mark Kendall. Once Bitten's co-writer Jeffrey House really wanted Michael J. Fox to star in the lead role of Mark Kendall. At the time, Fox was increasingly becoming a huge star thanks to starring in the popular sitcom Family Ties, and had a wise guy, boy next door image going on at that time, so he would have had the mundane every guy empathy as well as delivering the comedy chops. However, the movie's distributors, the Samuel Goldwyn Company, didn't think that Fox quite had the star power to carry the entire movie, so the idea of casting Fox was dropped. However, also that very same year that Once Bitten came out, Fox starred in similar teenage supernatural comedy Teen Wolf, only he wasn't a vampire, but a werewolf instead. Oh, and he was apparently in some movie called Back to the Future or Back to the Past or something like that. And after the huge success of Back to the Future, we can only wonder if the production was kicking themselves for not casting Michael J. Fox. And thinking that he didn't have the star power to carry a movie. Ugh, talk about a backfire. Number 9. Jim Carrey's first role in a major film. Although nowadays everyone knows Jim Carrey on the account that he's arguably one of the biggest stars in the world, back in the humble days of 1985, not many people knew about the Canadian funny man. Although he had starred in a few low-budget Canadian movies which were made up of comedy skits, as well as having a small role in the comedy movie Finders Keepers, he had never been the lead in a major Hollywood movie, so it was quite a gamble to cast Carrey in the role. In order to get the part, he had to do a screen test and act out the scene of the Mark character in the LA bar while looking scared. And Carrey blew everyone away with his audition, as he was able to do this while also being really funny about it. And the performance he delivers in Once Bitten is amazing. He has great comedic timing as well as brilliant physical comedy. And just watching it, you can see that he's a big star waiting to happen. I mean, come on, I don't think I've ever seen anyone play air guitar with their own leg before. And from there, Carrey would go on to star in the TV show In Living Color, which would lead to movies like Ace Ventura and The Mask, where he would become one of the biggest stars of the 90s. Number 8. Once Bitten could have featured the Mistress of the Dark. And now onto the seductive villain of the movie, the Countess. Unlike the final film, where the Countess is shown to be a sophisticated socialite, played with glamour by model and actress Lauren Hutton, the original version of the Countess was less glamorous and more dark and mysterious. The writers of the movie, Jeffrey House and David Hines, wanted actress Cassandra Peterson to play the role, who is best known as Elvira, the Mistress of Darkness, and she would have been epic in the part. However, the movie's director Howard Storm had different ideas for the role. He wanted actress Morgan Fairchild. However, neither Peterson or Fairchild would get the role. Instead, Lauren Hutton got the part, where unlike the original dark and creepy concept design, the character was now blonde and given more of an 80s chic look. Hutton is perfect in the role. She has power and command, as well as captivating the sexual desirability of the character. Incidentally, Once Bitten's director Howard Storm also directed episodes of popular sitcoms like Taxi, Alf, and Full House. Number 7. The original screenplay was creepier than the final film. There was more grit and a darker tone in the original script of Once Bitten. According to an article on Mental Floss, Once Bitten was originally called Nightlife, and it was to be more of a dark exploration of the LA nightlife scenery, and was to have much more of a creepy atmosphere, unlike the final film, where the nightlife we see is more over-exaggerated and satirical. However, the company that was distributing Once Bitten, the Samuel Goldwyn Company, felt that nightlife didn't sound enough like the title for a comedy movie. So rewrites of the script took place and the title was changed to Once Bitten, which is from an old saying, once bitten, twice shy. And Once Bitten definitely goes with the movie, as unlike Nightlife it sounds vampire-esque, and suggests that there is biting involved, and it's not just Jim Carrey's buttons that are getting bitten off. Number 6. A pop song to sink your teeth into. So in Once Bitten, a funky pop song also called Once Bitten is constantly played throughout the movie. And if by the end of the movie you don't have this song going on loop in your head, then congratulations, you get the not having the Once Bitten song stuck in your head award. The song was recorded by a Boston-based rock group called 3 Speed, whom I've never heard of before and aren't aware of any other songs that they have recorded. But regardless, Once Bitten is one funky and catchy track. The song was accompanied by a music video which also featured clips from the movie, as well as all that 80s goodness one would expect from an 80s music video, like fast-paced editing, bright colours, and mullets. What can I say? I'm a sucker for the 80s. Get it? Sucker? As in vampires? Get it? Yeah, get. Okay, moving on. Number 5. Once Bitten Around the World. Once Bitten actually got several different titles in different parts of the world, obviously to appeal to audiences more in said countries. In France it was known as Vampires Forever. In Poland it was called Kiss Princess. In Hungary it was titled Just One Bite. But the funniest one is probably the Brazil title, which is probably a little too straight to the point, as it has the memorable title of Virgin Boy Wanted. I also find the Italian movie poster fascinating, which features the illustration of Mark and the Countess goofing about in a graveyard, with Mark in particular really showing his inner vampire. I actually really like it, although it's not as iconic as the custom US poster. Speaking of Once Bitten's movie poster, number 4, last minute poster changes. All fans of Once Bitten are familiar with the movie's poster, with a dazed and confused Mark pointing up into the night sky, with the Countess character smirking above, while really looking like a stereotypical vampire. All while Mark's girlfriend Robin is staring at him with great concern. Like the music video, the whole thing just screams 80s and I love it. However, the Robin character wasn't originally on the poster. She was added into the poster at the last minute, basically because test audiences really liked the character in the movie. The part was played by actress and model Karen Coppins, and what I like best about her character is that she wasn't the stereotypical concerned girlfriend, but like Carrey also had some generally great moments in the film and was also pretty funny. And after her amazing dance-off in the film, I think she more than earned her spot on the movie's poster. Also, writer Jeffrey Howe stated that Once Bitten was originally called Once Bitten with 2 dots at the end of the title, as if suggesting that a sequel may ensue. But when the logo was drawn up, the 2 dots which concluded the title were nowhere to be seen. Also, back on Robin actress Karen Coppins, there was a scene where the character was to punch a vampire, and while filming the scene she hit the vampire so hard she literally knocked the actor's vampire's teeth right out of his mouth. Number 3. Once Bitten's persistent double bill home media Rampage. Ever since 1986, Once Bitten has enjoyed many different variations of home media. From the original 1986 VHS release by Vestron to its DVD release by MGM, and more recently the Blu-ray release by Scream Factory in 2015. Because Scream Factory are awesome at giving Blu-ray releases to films that studios often overlook, that the fans really want to see. And okay, elephant in the room, this Blu-ray release is in fact a double bill with another vampire comedy called Love at First Bite, which is an older film that I've never seen before. But oh boy, this is only the start of Once Bitten's double bill home media shenanigans. The strangest home media release in my opinion came in the form of the totally awesome 80s double feature, which was released in 2007, in which it was paired off with Vampire's Kiss, as in that weird movie with Nicolas Cage where you don't know if he's a vampire or having a nervous breakdown. To me, this is a weird duo of movies, as although Vampire's Kiss has its comical moments and is a vampire movie where the lead is a young man who supposedly gets bitten by a female vampire, tonally the two movies are completely different, as Once Bitten is a carefree, wacky, crazy comedy, whereas Vampire's Kiss is quite dark and even disturbing. So it's weird going from fun and goofy to psychologically twisted. It's like having a DVD double bill with Batman and Robin and The Dark Knight. For those who are not aware, Vampire's Kiss is the movie where Nicolas Cage pulls this face. It seems that the powers that be love pairing Once Bitten off with other movies for home releases. Like there's a lack of confidence that the movie won't sell on its own. Hence this 2011 triple release with fellow comedies Easy Money and Throw Mama Under the Train. And then this 4-pack which also threw Blame It On Rio into this movie cocktail. But I digress. What do you guys think? Is it a strange double bill, or does Once Bitten and Vampire Kiss make the perfect 1980s vampire double bill combo ever? Let me know. Number 2, the co-writer ended up working in a video store. Despite co-writing what would become a cult classic and a general 1980s gem, by the time Once Bitten was released in theaters, co-writer Jeffrey House had spent all the money he had earned, and thus needed income, so he ended up getting a job at a video store, which is awesome. Now some people may think it's a shame going from making movies to working in a video store, but personally I think it's most bodacious, as back in the day video stores was the place to be. They were particularly extra magical on Friday nights. On a side note, there was one occasion where a customer in said video store was talking about Once Bitten and said that the writer shouldn't be in Hollywood, where House responded, "You got your wish." But then again, this piece of information did come from IMDb, which, let's be honest, isn't the most reliable source of information. So Jeffrey House, if you're watching this, let me know, is this true or not? I'll be really interested to know. Also, on a side note, ever notice that when someone wins an award or a beauty pageant, they always say that they wish for world peace, but no one ever says that they wish for video stores to return? I mean, come on, world peace has to start somewhere. Number 1, Once Bitten on the big screen. Once Bitten was released on November the 15th, 1985, which is weird as it was released just 2 weeks after Halloween, and you would have thought that this would be the perfect movie to release for Halloween. I guess the movie just wasn't ready? I don't know. It made just over $10 million on a $3.2 million budget, so it did bring in some profit. Once Bitten actually got pretty mixed reviews from critics, with it being called a rarity in one instance, but style over wit in another. So for its time, it didn't exactly wow people, it was released and serviceable and did its job. However, Once Bitten has become a cult movie, embraced by fans. One of those lost gems from the 80s which gets overlooked and doesn't get as much recognition that it deserves. But it definitely has its place when it comes to ghoulish fun. Once Bitten is a very enjoyable film, and a must for lovers of 80s cinema and teenage comedies. It gave us thrills and spills and laughs, but above all it gave the world of cinema Jim Carrey. I can't help but feel like Once Bitten is a cautionary tale about casual one-night stands, in that you don't really know who you're tangling with. Kind of like Fatal Attraction with vampires. And ice cream trucks. No, but seriously, I can't help but feel like there's a message there that it's better to be with someone meaningful than a quick thrill with a stranger. Or maybe I'm just looking too deeply into this. Who knows? So for Halloween, you should totally check it out and see for yourself. Anyway, I'm Minty, and OnceBitten probably has the best anti-vampire quote in a movie ever, where the Mark character says, "I don't want to be a vampire, I am a day person." Brilliant! We're done! See ya!